Will the biggest World Cup in history be overshadowed by even bigger problems? 48 teams, 104 matches, over 6 weeks in 16 cities across America, Canada and Mexico. FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, has promised the greatest tournament ever. But could extreme weather, sky-high spectator costs, heightened security, the Iran conflict and an unpredictable American president eclipse the greatest show on earth? Here's what you need to know. The World Cup is never without controversy. Remember the last one in Qatar 4 years ago. It was the first Winter World Cup held in a tiny Gulf kingdom. Scores of migrant workers, mainly from the Indian subcontinent, died building stadiums and associated infrastructure. There were also frequent claims of physical abuse, discrimination and late or unpaid wages. When Russia hosted in 2018, there were fears about the treatment of gay supporters, hooliganism and racism. And in 2014, millions of Brazilians protested at the amount of public money being spent on the tournament. So, criticism and controversy is nothing new. But what makes this tournament so different? Well, let's start with President Trump. December's World Cup draw was derided as a love-in between FIFA's president and the American president. Gianni Infantino was ridiculed for giving an inaugural peace prize to a leader who just a few weeks later invaded Venezuela. Trump is also currently unpopular and has been a gift to FIFA's critics. Will he be booed at the final? Will he try and photobomb the trophy lift as he did at last year's Club World Cup? With Trump, you never know. And then there's his war with Iran. Iran's presence at the tournament is fraught, to say the very least. Never in World Cup history has a host been at war with a qualified nation. Trump did originally say he didn't think their participation was appropriate. His rhetoric has softened since, but questions over Iran have dominated the run-up to this tournament. Star players in the team have served in Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, and staff with links to the IRGC have been refused entry to the US. FIFA, it seems, has had to treat this crisis very carefully. Iran had chosen a training base in Arizona, but they were allowed to switch at the last minute to Tijuana in Mexico near the US border. The team will fly in and out of the states for matches to minimize their time inside the country. Even if Iran's 3 group stage games on the West Coast go off without a hitch, there is still jeopardy here. Iran could face off against the United States in the knockout stages in Dallas on the 3rd of July. Whatever the state of the war, this would obviously be one of the most politically charged fixtures in global sporting history. Next, there's security. The war in the Middle East has clearly heightened fears over terrorism.
Go to the right. Move. Open doors left.
FIFA has spent more than $500 million on security and emergency preparations. Stadiums are hard targets because of the heavy police presence and strict security measures. And the final at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey will be secured by the US Secret Service. There will be flight restrictions, a huge security perimeter, and close cooperation with the FBI. But it is only the final that has been allocated the highest level of federal support. However, the 77 other matches in the US are all potential targets for plotters linked to foreign states or perhaps homegrown lone wolf attacks. But what will really preoccupy security experts are soft targets like hotels, fan zones, and transport hubs. Drones may be the biggest threat to hundreds of thousands of travelling fans. No-fly zones will be enforced over stadiums, but other mass gatherings are more vulnerable. There have also been concerning scenes in another host country, Mexico. Take a look at these statues in Mexico City, and no, they're not meant to show footballers diving to win a penalty. They've been pulled over by teachers who are on strike demanding a better pay deal. The dispute has sparked fiery clashes with riot police and tear gas has been used. The union representing the teachers has threatened to blockade roads leading to games if their demands aren't met, something the Mexican government is clearly trying to avoid. Of all the possible problems, match tickets have perhaps been the most controversial. Sky-high prices have put off many travelling fans. But the closer we get to the tournament, the more confusing the situation has become. FIFA's Infantino boasted that every match had sold out, but that doesn't seem to reflect reality. And as the clock ticks down to the opening game, prices seem to be falling and probably haven't bottomed out quite yet. For the bigger, more popular footballing countries, there is less likely to be a dramatic reduction in prices though. One recent estimate put the cost for tickets for every England game, if they went all the way to the final, at more than £6,000. An ordinary fan would have to add up to £15,000 to that for accommodation, food and travel, meaning the whole trip could get to over £20,000. The same experience in Qatar 4 years ago would have cost under £5,000. And then of course there's the weather. Summer temperatures in swathes of the US and Mexico are hot, really hot. In Florida, where England are training this week, temperatures have topped 32 degrees. And nearly a quarter of all games will be played in temperatures in at least the high 20s. But it's not just the heat that's the problem. Last summer's Club World Cup, also staged across the United States, saw games delayed for hours due to powerful electrical storms. The longest was timed at 4.5 hours between kickoff and the final whistle. A strict US thunderstorm protocol will be enforced at the World Cup. Games must be suspended if lightning or electrical discharge is detected within 8 miles of the venue. Players will be taken off the pitch, spectators will be led to safe zones, and television viewers around the world will have to find something else to do to kill time. This is undoubtedly the most ambitious World Cup ever, but there is still so much that could go wrong. However, after all the off-the-field controversy in the build-up, FIFA, 3 governments, 1,200 players and billions of fans around the world will be hoping that when the tournament gets underway, it's only the football we'll be talking about.